I want to start this video off with a thank you. This channel passed 13,000 subscribers today. Thank you so much. While the main channel continues to grow as it does, I enjoy producing content for this channel as well. I think this channel is, you know, honestly, if I could produce 4 or 5 videos a day on this channel, I would. But you have to go where the traffic is, and traffic's generally over there. Prove me wrong, people. Prove me wrong. Now, there's some things making news today in regards to certain things. So, you know, I'm going to be all over the place, which is how the news of the day videos on this channel work. I'm going to start with monetization's been suspended on all 3 of Shane Dawson's channels. There are a lot of people saying this is overdue. And in the cancel video where I was talking about Dawson, among others, I'm not saying that shouldn't happen. I just don't understand why it took this long. So what's going on that I'm seeing with the whole let's cancel everything movement is that certain things are being canceled that probably should have been a long time ago, or certain creators, certain entities that probably should have had action taken against them years ago are finally seeing that. And then there's others getting caught in the crossfire. And I've seen some on Twitter where I'm like, you guys are really splitting hairs on this one. We're declaring this is crap, and I don't know that it necessarily is what you're thinking. But, you know, again, we're in this time where there's a lot of people out of work, so there's probably a lot of people with a lot more time for social media, and therefore probably more time for Twitter, more time for YouTube like this, and Instagram and all that. So this is a massive hit for Dawson. He has 22.7 million subscribers on his main channel, and on the other two, 8.4 million, 3.7 million. Numbers that completely dwarf the 13,000 on this channel and the 144,000 on the main channel, which is a ridiculous number. And before I went to bed last night, I said to my wife, I said, there are 144,000 people that have subscribed to my hockey channel. And she's like, it's weird. Like, yeah. So that's bizarre. It's a very, very bizarre thing. And yeah. So I can't imagine the millions. Now, his books have apparently also been, or in the process of being, removed by Target. Morphe is taking his makeup collaboration with Jeffree Star off its site. Jeffree Star, I've seen things he's said and done over the last few years, and I'm like, wow, really? Nothing happens. So, you know, I think there are definitely situations where some really big YouTubers say and do things that, as a smaller YouTuber, I look at and go, wow, that's going to hit my bottom line, isn't it? Because advertisers are going to see that and they're going to go, well, we're pulling out of this platform, we're done. So that's why they're doing this. YouTube's come out and said, you know what, we just, for our creators and for advertisers, we're pulling the advertising from this guy's channels based on some stuff that's out there. Now, Dawson has removed a lot of the offensive older content, or made it private one way or the other, or he's deleted it and re-uploaded it into private videos kind of thing. There's different ways around it. But either way, most of the stuff that's offensive to people has been taken down. Speaking of which, there was a purge the last couple of days where white nationalist channels were purged out by YouTube. And that doesn't necessarily bother me in that there is, and I was talking about this in a video today too, there's a terms of service. You sign the terms of service, and that is one thing that when people talk about YouTube and, oh, freedom of speech. Well, no, freedom of speech is being allowed to go out and say things and not worry about being arrested. Being able to say things on the internet is different because, again, this is hosted on YouTube servers, and again, before you start uploading videos, you go through their terms of service and you have to click agree, and you agree, and then you're bound by the terms of service. So for a lot of the channels that have been getting banned, they just clicked through the terms of service and ignored it, and basically when challenged on it, they go, it's freedom of speech. So I don't care what your terms of service says. That's not how terms of service work. So I've had that argument with people over the phone more than once. Well, I don't care. Turn my service back on. Did you read your terms of service? I'm not reading my terms of service. Okay. So yeah, you know, that's important. And there are instances where I should read terms of service and haven't necessarily done so. Making entertainment news. And this is one of those things where years later we go, yeah, we thought so. The creator of the show Lost, he wanted it to be 3 seasons. And I think we can all agree it went to ridiculous lengths, and things got weird and got bizarre. And fans had an idea for how Lost was going to go, so they kind of went, nope, we're going to crumple that up and kick that in the corner. That's wrong. How's it going to really end? So the plan was to go 3 seasons, and the network wanted 10. This is where it's important, I think, for a creator to kind of put his foot down and go, okay, I've got a vision here. 3 years, 5 years, whatever the vision is. This is where the show's starting. This is where the show's ending. And that's it. I understand. It could be a big hit. You guys want to keep it. We have to make sure the show has something that makes sense for an ending. Something that makes sense for a storyline. We don't want it to get repetitive. We don't want it to contradict itself. There's nothing worse than when a show starts to really completely and totally contradict itself. Which, if a show's on long enough, it will do that. I know Simpsons gets blamed a lot. It's because Simpsons been on for so long. It's been on for 30 years. Of course it's going to contradict itself because it has to. The jokes it was making in 1990 do not work in 2020. I have to say, too, I don't think we're doing a review of it now, but I want to mention I really enjoyed the Eurovision movie. But Will Ferrell's not funny. This is the problem. This is the problem that the movie has. Is that Will Ferrell, there's 2 different Will Ferrells. You have the straight-laced Will Ferrell who's in a comedy movie, and you have the controlled Will Ferrell in a comedy movie or a dramatic movie. Not very many dramas in his resume, but also throw the word drama out there just to have that qualifier. And then you have the over-the-top, just goofy Will Ferrell that's not funny. And Eurovision, I really enjoyed the movie. And I've seen Eurovision footage before. There are some really interesting acts that have come out of Eurovision. It's a delight. It's fantastic. Thank you, Hecka. And so, you know, Eurovision is... Hecka's a subscriber to the channel, so I throw his name out there because he will send bands to my wife, who then shares them with me with, look what Hecka sent me. And it's usually something from Eurovision, where we're like, wow, that's really bizarre and interesting. All right, that's kind of cool. So I really enjoyed the movie for kind of accurately portraying just how over-the-top and goofy things are when it comes to Eurovision. I have to say, the way they vote on who gets to move on, I love that. I would love to see something like that with competitions globally, where you have maybe an American Idol where you have votes from all around the world, and it's not just, you know, judges, and it's not the audience that gets all the vote either. I think that's a great idea. Now, Rachel McAdams is an absolute delight in everything she does. I think this movie proves she can make absolute wonderment out of almost any role she has. And in this movie, for some reason, she was reminiscent, to me anyways, of Robin Wright when she was Buttercup in Princess Bride. So, you know, complete and total kudos to her. I thought it was a fun movie. No, it's not Citizen Kane, but it's not supposed to be either. It's supposed to be goofy. And if you can kind of take the Will Ferrell stuff and go, all right, well, that's... And then there's the Pierce Brosnan stuff that doesn't really go anywhere. It's just sort of there, and then there's kind of an arc, but there isn't really. If you ignore that stuff, it's a pretty good movie. It is. Some entertaining storylines and overall plot points. And it really... It understates or underlines one important fact about my life. I have to visit Iceland. Someday, somehow, someway, I have to visit Iceland. It looks absolutely beautiful in Iceland. Reykjavik looks like an absolutely beautiful city. And then they go to Edinburgh for the Eurovision contest. And Edinburgh, of course, looks absolutely fantastic. So that's a part of the world that I have to see at some point. It may be easier to access Europe than the United States for a while because of the border closure. That could be a thing. So, yeah, I guess it's possible I could end up going to Europe before I go back to the States. It's so weird. It's possible. Harley Quinn, now I've talked about that on here before. Harley Quinn, which is a cartoon which has garnered a lot of interest. It's going to be on HBO Max, both seasons 1 and 2. And season 3 is still basically up in the air. Whether or not they're going to have a season 3, there is some hope that by having it on HBO Max, getting it to a wider audience, maybe that'll increase the amount of interest and the possibility of a 3rd season. This is where when you're producing a cartoon that's basically, you know, TV mature and it's not, you know, for little kids, it can be harder to find that audience. It can be harder to keep that show going for as long as you may want it to. Whereas if you make it a kid-friendly show, you can get 4 or 5 seasons out of it. They'll give you 400 or 500 episodes. It sure seems to be the case anyways, back in the 80s. I know when I got the 3 seasons of Transformers, the first thing I thought was, wait, there was only 3 seasons of Transformers in the 80s? And then second thing was, holy crap, there were a lot of episodes in that one season. Just so many. So, you know, if it's kid-friendly, and especially if you're selling toys, then how many episodes do you need? Take them all. I have to mention this. So, I was on the treadmill the other night, and I decided, you know what? I'm going to go through Amazon Music, and I'm going to go through German metal. So, I went through a German metal list, and it was delightful. I am always delighted by what German music will produce. And I know there are certainly bands from all over Europe that are capable of bringing a smile to my face. Nena is not metal. I understand she's not metal. I have to have Nena on the board because yesterday I was listening to, I think I listened to 4 or 5 songs of hers. It drives me insane that people just remember her for 99 Luftballon or 99 Red Balloons. Honestly, Nena, absolutely fantastic. She kills it live. Her live performances are fantastic. And there are so many songs of hers that are peppy and fun, and she has so many really good songs. And it does sort of drive me insane. So at some point on this channel, I'm going to talk about one-hit wonders that shouldn't be seen as one-hit wonders. Very often it's going to be bands from Canada who had that one hit in the States and then that was it. Or bands from Europe who had one hit in the States and that was it. Or, you know, certainly bands that had one hit but really were pretty darn good, and it's just that they had one hook. And the rest of the music, while it was pretty good, it didn't have that hook, so it didn't get the mainstream attention. So, your challenge for today is to look up Norcator is the name of the band, and Ma Baker is the name of the song. And it's kind of perfect. It's really kind of perfect. It has sort of this Three Little Pigs, by Green Jelly sort of vibe in some of the lyrical content of it. I don't think that's intentional. That reminds me of that. And it was a song that as I'm listening to it, I had to actually stop the treadmill and listen to the lyrics and go, what? So it is this fantastic, goofy song that was in the metal list because clearly, because I thought, man, if it's going to be German metal, it's going to be a lot of Rammstein, a lot of Megahertz, and probably a couple of songs from Oomph, and then whatever they can find that kind of sounds like metal. So, of course, Icebreaker was in there, even though Icebreaker, I wouldn't consider them to be metal, but I have a couple of Icebreaker CDs. It's funny to me. Because, again, Icebreaker to me is more techno, more of a German techno, like dark techno, but it's techno. And it's the kind of band I don't talk about very often, that people might be surprised to see me listening to, other than, of course, the Billie Eilish stuff that I love. But yeah, Norcator. That song is absolutely just, Ma Baker is a great song. And you know what? I would not be surprised to find out they started in Eurovision. Haven't looked them up. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they're from Eurovision and if they dress up like bakers when they sing it. Nothing would surprise me because it's German metal or German music in general. Europe doesn't take themselves quite as seriously as we do over here in Canada, or definitely in the States, and I love Europe for that. I do need to go to Europe. And I wanted to close with one important thing. So I did the video on the Payoneer cards. Our card is now unlocked. I'm still trying to get as much money out of it as possible. I could only take $1.99 off of it yesterday. So I am trying to make sure that when Yvonne's buying stuff, she buys using it now. I'm getting that amount down. And then once that's cleared, I'm done with it. That'll be it. I am not going to use it again. That is going to be it. I'll just go through whatever I have to go through, whatever hoops I got to jump through with PayPal so that they understand I am who I say I am. Just tell them, just go on the internet. Why would I make up that I'm me? Why would I do that? Why would anybody do that? It's like anytime, years ago, people were like, oh, identity theft. I'm like, hey, somebody wants my life? Take it. Enjoy that. It hasn't done me any good. So, yeah. Payoneer. It's unlocked. It's working. For how long? I don't know. FCA lifted the lock, and Payoneer's trying to do well. And maybe maybe it's all straight from their hearts and they mean it and all that. But I don't trust it. I don't, because there's just something about it I don't trust. So I'm done with it. even though I know they're going to have cards apparently sent out from another company and, oh, everything's going to be fine. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Just go through PayPal and I'll get myself a credit card, and I'll go from there. So once somebody realizes I qualify, see, part of getting credit and part of the whole credit argument is that because I'm self-employed and you don't have somebody to go after for my money if I don't pay something, it seems to be what makes them nervous, or the fact that my pay greatly can change from month to month. So as an example with YouTube, you make really good money in December, and then in January it's gone. You make really good money in June, and in July it's not gone, but it drops quite a bit. And so, you know, that's something that if you're applying for something, they may look at your pay and go, wow, that is really crazy. And you get your pay from what? No, we're not going to okay this because that doesn't sound stable. So that seems to be what it is. It's a non-traditional job that I have, so it makes it more difficult for me to qualify. Whereas 5 years ago, I couldn't qualify because I didn't have any money, and I didn't make a great living either. So yeah, so there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. It means a lot. Like I said, 13,000. Very, very much appreciated. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you are browsing your way through and just happened upon this video. And hey, 2020, it needs some fun music. So, Ma Baker, Norcator, the fact that those kind of rhyme, that's fantastic too. And I guess my challenge is, let me know in the comment section below, fun music like that. So first you got to listen to this if you haven't listened to it. And then find fun music. So again, I like the weird music is what I like, and either that or metal. And again, it can't be, there's two rules with metal. I don't like speed metal or like the death metal type. And if the singer sounds like Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls, I'm probably not going to like it. So and it is just, it's a reflex action that when I hear it, I'll start talking like Mojo Jojo while I'm listening to it. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't take this singer seriously because it's just growling and it sounds like Mojo Jojo. So there you go. Thanks again for all your support, and I will talk to you again soon.